Welcome to week 2 of HOA Business Branding. It's been an exciting week. There's been a lot of interesting things that have happened in this little book project that we are working on. We will be talking about in this hour. So let's just jump right in and get started. Last week we covered some basic things. We covered Google+, the power of it, how it influences search, some of the tools that are used to manage Google+, Circloscope, Circle Count, and Nodex, and a little bit about how to use them. We touched on some YouTube integration stuff, which was awesome. Jen covered that stuff and got us all ready. I personally actually have already gone out and improved a couple of the YouTube channels that I manage based on the stuff Jen was saying. So that was awesome. And then we had a lot of fun at the end of the show where our audience jumped into the conversation and we just talked about what we had discussed, and we got a couple of testimonials. It was really cool. So this week we're going to be talking about some of the tools you can use to manage Hangouts and how those tools work, what they are. So this is going to be a real hands-on show, a lot of screen sharing today, and so I'm excited about that. Jen,
good.
What do you got to say now that we're back on camera this week?
Well, I'm excited to get going. I actually did some stuff too last week and utilized some of the circle tools that you shared and added more people to my circle, so that was cool. And felt like posting more on G+, so I posted more on G+ last week. But yeah, I'm excited today to dive into the tools and learn more about what you can teach us on all this stuff on how we do Google Hangouts or Hangouts on Air the right way.
Okay, good deal. All right, so okay, the first thing that I've got in my notes here is sometimes the apps don't work. Let's be clear. Google+ Hangouts on Air is the world's largest beta test. Okay, and this project is constantly under repair and everything is being worked on, and so sometimes some of the things that you want to work won't work. Often you can't get Comment Tracker to work or something else. We have lovingly started terming these Google gremlins here on Google+, amongst some of the people who produce Hangouts on Air, because they just seem to pop up at the last minute. And my guess is we probably won't get through this show without having something not work properly. So as I'm showing you how to use tools, hopefully we can show you how to use all the tools I want to show you how to use, but we might not get there. That's our disclaimer. That being said, it is still very much worth your time to do Hangouts on Air because of their value to market. You just have to be flexible and able to adjust when things go a little bit awry. So all right, the first thing that we wanted to cover here in our notes, Jen, is Hangout app, phone, and computer.
Yes, so we want to cover how do you actually start a Hangout if you're on your computer or if you're on a phone, or how do you join a Hangout if you're on a computer, on a phone, or a tablet. How does it all work and what do you need to get started?
Okay, and that's, you know, that's great. That's a great place to start, is at beginning the Hangout. The first thing you've got to do is make sure that you've got the Hangout app itself installed on whatever it is you're wanting to connect to the HOA with. If you're trying to connect through, if you've been invited to an HOA and it's the first time you're ever doing an HOA, then a little window will come up and it'll say, you know, do you want to install the Hangout app? And you'll install it. After that, you're never aware that you're using the Hangout on app on your computer. It completely runs in the background. That's not the same case, though, over on your phone. So on your computer, Google Plus just wraps around the Hangout app, and it covers everything. It runs the Hangout app, it runs Google Plus, and they're all kind of integrated into one place. Let me screen share just a second so you can see where the Hangout app is.
And Dennis, don't we want to use Chrome as our browser when we are using the Google Hangout app?
That's my opinion. Is you want to use Chrome, and the reason that I say you want to use Chrome is kind of Google made Chrome, Google made Google Plus, Google made Hangouts. The chances of having something glitch are considerably reduced.
Yes.
That doesn't mean they won't glitch, but most people find that it runs faster if they use Chrome. Every now and again there are people who there's something wrong with their Chrome, and that could be any number of things, including a Chrome extension that they may have downloaded that now is interfering with. I don't know of any Chrome extensions that do interfere with Hangout app, but that's probably, if somebody's got Chrome not working well with a Hangout, that's probably the reason why right there.
Okay. So, awesome. Good to know.
Yeah, good point. Definitely Chrome is your de facto browser when you're doing Google Plus stuff. So, as you will now see, I am in Chrome right here, and where you're looking for the management of your Hangout app on your phone, or on your computer, is right here. This little shape right there is your Hangout, and I've currently turned off notifications. Something I recommend you do, which you turn off notifications right here, mute your notifications for however long you want to mute them, and then you won't get interrupted during the event. Okay, so that's a really good idea. And this is, the Hangout is a number of things. It's your chat feature, and it is also the device that does your video conferencing, whether that's a private Hangout, sometimes called a private HO, or whether that is a Hangout on Air, which is the public Hangout like what we're doing right now, broadcast to an audience. Doesn't really matter. Either way, a lot of that is managed from that little sidebar over on the right, where you can type in and you can chat, and then you can invite people for a private Hangout from there. On your phone, it's different. There isn't that collaborative engagement. You're running two separate apps. You've got your Google Plus app for all of your social media side of Google Plus, and then your Hangout app does all this chat, the IM chat, or it does the video conferencing that you can do from your phone, or it connects you to a Hangout on Air. That's all done through a separate app called the Hangout app. It's got that same little icon with the quotations in it, but it's green, just like right here. There. Oh, there. It looks like that on your phone. Okay, that's the thing you're looking for. So go get that app called the Hangout app, and you can then chat and be invited to Hangouts and connect. Now, there's one thing about a Hangout on Air from a phone. It is possible to do, and I do it fairly regularly, but you cannot initiate and you cannot control and manage a Hangout on Air from a phone. So you can only be a participant like Jen is. I'm the one that's in control. I go and I decide Jen's now on camera. I decide I'm back on camera, and I decide Jen's back on camera. Okay? That's me that controls that, and often, as you'll see during the show, that forgets to put me back on camera, and Jen's sitting there while I'm talking. But that's me that controls that. You can't do that kind of control on a mobile device. So just be aware of that. Don't even try. Hopefully sometime in the future that will be available, but right now, not available.
Good to know.
So the next thing we've got is, let me see here, moving things around all over the place. The Toolbox app, which Jen actually just opened up a minute ago. Let me screen share again and show you the Toolbox app.
Yes, I opened mine up because I forgot to add my awesome graphic that Dennis made for me.
Yeah, and that overlay is, you put it up in the Toolbox app. That's the main thing you're going to use Toolbox app for. So let me show you something. When you are in the Hangout and it's going along, this is what it looks like. As soon as you bring your cursor back over the screen, then you get this control panel up top and you get a control panel down the side. And then you take your cursor away and they disappear and then they come back. Okay? So you find all of your apps that you can run during a show in this right here. You'll have the ones that you use most often there. Then you'll have some others up here, and you can even add more apps down there. The particular one we're talking about is the Hangout Toolbox app, which looks like a lunch pail, not a toolbox in my opinion. And this is what it looks like. All your apps, once they're open and running, run the same way. They're on the right-hand side over here. So once they open, they reside on the right-hand side, and you can do whatever you can do with them. The comment tracker, which is what it opens up to right here, is not a very robust comment tracker, so I don't recommend you use comment tracker. This is what mostly the Hangout Toolbox is used for, is to put up a custom overlay. Okay, and you can either do a basic overlay, which you can put in a tagline, your name, and it'll either put up your profile picture or you can choose a logo. You can also select your colors, and you do have a lot of colors that you can select from. And you can even put in a code if you have a very particular color that you want to use so that you can match your branding. That's the basic lower third, and let me just okay, I'm going to stop screen sharing, and this is what that looks like down here at the bottom. Now, I'm using a separate app outside of Google Plus altogether called Xsplit Broadcaster. That's why I have two overlays on. Please forgive the confusion. But this is what that looks like. You may have seen other people use this one, and it's a very easy way to just get your name up there and you know, your basic information. So back to screen share. If you want to do something more elaborate, and later in the book we'll probably cover how to do a custom overlay. I'm going to check Jen instead of infinity screen. It's less confusing. But to load a custom overlay, you simply just go to your computer and you find the image that you want. Here's all my files on my business book. Here is my overlay is right there. I open that up. I turned it on right here. And now, when I stop screen sharing, I'm actually going to have two overlays. I don't know how that's going to look, but because they're identical to each other, you can't see. So it just laid it in right on top of the other one. So that's how you put in the overlay, a custom overlay. And later in the book, we will be talking about how to design a custom overlay. There's some key graphics that you want to work on. Your overlay, your banner image, your YouTube cover image, and then you may want to do a invite image for Instagram and Pinterest. Those are the 5 graphics that you need to create each week with an HOA. And we'll get into some easy ways to do that. If you're not a graphic designer, you don't want to hire one, I'll show you some tricks and tips and free tools. You don't have to go buy PowerPoint. No, not PowerPoint.
Photoshop.
Photoshop to do it. It's not going to look as good, but you know, you can get the job done.
Or you can always just do what Dennis just did, which is turn on the lower third with your picture that comes from your Google Plus account, or upload a logo or something like that.
Yeah. Yep, that's a very simple solution to the Hangout toolbox. So there are a couple of other things. I don't much use them in the Hangout toolbox, but let's cover them since this is supposed to be a comprehensive book. You've got a volume control here. This allows you to turn up and turn down the volume of the other person in the show. Now, that doesn't do anything for the show itself. It just makes it easier or harder for you to hear somebody. Not an app that I usually use. The about, you can see who created this thing and who they are, and there's some settings. You can enable auto load, mute notification sounds, and auto load last used lower third. So that's kind of a neat feature. You don't have to go in and set that up each time. If you enable auto load, now it'll automatically load that up, and the second you come into a Hangout, it's on. Mm-hmm. So I don't have that because I use this Xsplit Broadcaster that I was telling you about. So there is the basics of Hangout Toolbox. Do we have any questions from the audience? Any engagement so far?
I don't see any.
Michael
in the
Thomas,
feed right
welcome. Now. All right. Roll call. Let us know. Michael, we know you're here. Anyone else who's here, love to hear from you. And if you've got any comments or questions on any of the stuff that we're talking about, you will end up as part of the book if you join us in the comments and questions. So we'd love to hear from you.
Great. Well, we can move on to the next part, which is some of my favorite stuff, which is in the Google effects. I've had some fun times with some clients messing around in here. So.
Yes, Google Effects is a great time. You can have a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and look at that, Jen.
Okay.
I'm going to screen share. Do you want to explain Google Effects?
Well, I can for as much as I know about it. You probably know more. I've mostly just played around in here. So Google Effects has quite a few.
This is the one that's Google Effects. Let me just point that out.
Yeah.
This little icon is your Google Effects icon.
Looks like a little magic wand. And they have such things in there as props, facial hair, eyewear, headwear, backgrounds, and it says experimental on there, which is very true. Sounds, and that's all the effects. So you can have lots of fun. We'll start with headwear since that's where Dennis is right now. So if we want to be pirates for the day, we can add hats. And
they move around with your head, which is kind of fun.
Yeah. And if you move your head over here, then it follows you. Move it over here, it follows you. And of course...
Did you know you can play a game? I like to call it Google Effects Volleyball. Have you ever seen anyone play this game?
No, let's play.
Well, we can't play right now. In order to play Google Effects Volleyball, you have to, let me come back on screen and talk.
Okay.
You have to actually have two people on the screen. So if there was somebody right here next to me,
yes.
Then what you can do is you can go like this and then go poof, and throw the hat over to their head.
I have done that before.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was called that. But yeah, I like that. Google Effects Volleyball. Yeah, it's really fun because you can get out of the way and then they'll have the hat or the eye patch or whatever you want to do. But you notice it follows me if I go fast or slow. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
What else do we want to go through on there? Well, headwear we already covered. She can be a dog or a princess.
Sound effects. Sound effects are fun.
Sound effects are really fun. I like this one. Cha-ching.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. Or laughing. That's always fun.
Yep.
There's a bunch of other ones in there. Do you want to press some of the other ones, Dennis?
Yeah, you got your rim shot. You got your gong. You know, anyone who remembers the Gong Show.
Oh yeah, I love the Gong Show.
This one's not working right now for me. It goes ma 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 ma. Oh. Tragedy.
Your trombone didn't work?
No. You want to hit your trombone?
Sure. There we go.
One of my favorite things to do is to do this drum right here, and then rim shot it at the end.
Awesome. And then you need laughs after that, right? The jokes.
Except my laugh isn't working. See, I told you, sometimes these don't work.
Right.
And then it worked right there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty classic.
Awesome. But yeah, the sounds are fun, and they're fun to add to your event. I was just thinking, what a great hangout. We could do the Gong Show. That would be awesome.
You could do the Gong Show. You're out of here.
We would have to get some really good talent in here and not so good talent. That would be a lot of fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
All right, so sounds. What about backgrounds? Let's see how it looks. So I've got a green screen behind me, but it still doesn't quite get it right.
Now you can adjust the background. Let me go to backgrounds and show what she's doing here. So she has selected the, oh, where is it? Oh, here it is. She's selected the beach background right there. But you can actually adjust up and down the slider.
Right.
And that'll change how much beach you're showing and how much you're not. But it's not an ideal thing, and you can turn yourself into a bit of a ghost. And
right. And that's why it says experimental, because it's definitely, I'm in the middle of the water now in Venice.
Yeah, you're just kind of popping out of the water. That one actually makes the most sense. You look like a mermaid. Popping out of the sand doesn't make quite as much sense.
Yeah.
And popping out of a brick wall is just weird.
Yeah, and notice because I'm wearing a red jacket, it's not really working.
Yeah.
Unless I adjust it. Yeah, it doesn't really work. But sometimes I like to use this bottom one, which is it fades the background. So if I don't have a green screen and I don't want people to see what's in my background, it does fade the background, which, as you can tell, it's kind of fading my jacket a little bit too. But it's pretty clear.
Here,
sometimes it'll mess up and it'll fade your face a little bit.
I'm going to stop screen sharing so that people can see my background here.
Okay.
So this is all the way to the top, and my face is a little bit in. That's about 3/4. Now my face is clear, my shirt is rather clear, and my background, as you can see, is kind of faded. This is where it comes in automatically, is at about the 50% mark. And then you can tune it all the way, almost all the way off. But as you can see, it's still creating some problems with my overlay. It won't normally create problems with your overlay if you're doing it the normal way, because the overlay is actually in front of the image, so it'll remain clear. But it's having problems with mine because that's part of the image that's being shown to Google, since I'm doing it in advance in another app. So as a result of that, this is not a good app for me to be using in conjunction with Xsplit Broadcaster.
Right. Right. Yeah, if you click on me, you can see when I do turn on my background, my overlay is still in focus.
Yeah, hers doesn't get affected like mine does. It just changes how wrinkly or unwrinkly her backdrop is.
Right.
So.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's Google Effects.
That's all the fun and games in Google Effects. Great time. Facial hair, glasses.
Yeah, facial hair is fun if you want a mustache for the day. It's kind of the new thing. Oh wait, no, beards are the new thing, right?
Yeah, there you go. You look great with a beard, can I just say?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's the new thing. That's the new look they keep saying. All the celebrities will be wearing them at the Oscars on Sunday, right?
Yeah, okay. I guess I'll have to grow a beard again.
I personally don't like facial hair, but some guys look okay with it.
Yeah.
All right, I
I
think
have
that's all on
no idea
Google.
what facial hair has to do with Hangouts on Air, but
Yeah, well, oh, if it's someone's birthday, you've got one. I've only got one prop. Do you only have one prop?
yeah, there's only one prop. There's the birthday cake.
So
I
in
don't know
case it's
why.
someone's birthday, or you could just want cake.
Yeah. It's weird though, because it's the first birthday and that's it.
Yeah, just the first. Well,
You can't
sometimes
celebrate.
Hangouts on Air are used like Apple FaceTime or like Skype, and so you can use Google Hangouts on Air without the live feature and use these same effects when you're just, you know, celebrating your 1-year-old's birthday, right? And sharing it with your grandparents, who you'll have to walk through setting up Google Plus and Google Hangouts. But you could use this not live, but just use the Hangout feature just to connect, like on how you would with Skype or with FaceTime.
Yeah. And, you know, it's not that difficult to set up. I set up my mom on her iPad, and she calls me all the time. It's funny, she always kind of calls me in these group chats that are going on. So she's calling me and my daughter and my sons, and
Yeah.
you know, we get. She doesn't mean to do that, but it's
Yeah.
fun because then we all get in there and have these group conversations. But you know, my mom couldn't use a computer to save her life.
Yeah.
She can get by on an iPad, but barely. So it's not like it's that complicated.
Right. Well, even my 11-year-old, he would message me through Google Plus quite a bit on his iPod, and then one day he clicked on the video and realized that it had the Hangouts, and I, of course, I already knew about it, but he wanted to tell me all about it. Mom, this is how it works, and I can see you and all this other stuff, because at the time I didn't have a PC and he had an iPod, so we couldn't do FaceTime, or I didn't have a Mac, I just had a PC. But now, of course, we can do FaceTime because I have a Mac. But Google Hangouts is a great option for connecting for sure.
Yeah, and it works on all platforms.
Yeah.
So, you know, you don't have to be an Apple exclusivist.
Yeah. So I'm looking through the comments here. Michael likes my beard, so thank you so much.
Yeah, I saw that. Gary, I don't know what Gary's saying. Something about us just talking about items that were never shown. I guess I wasn't screen sharing at some point in time.
Yeah.
So apologize for that if I'm screen sharing.
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem. So the next thing we want to go through is, did we already go over the control room?
No, we did not go over control room. Let me screen share again.
Okay. Okay.
So control room is, that's cameraman app. There's control room right here.
Did you click on your screen, or does the white box mean you're on me? There we go.
I'm white boxing you.
There, that was it.
Okay. So, unfortunately, that means we're going to have infinity screen, but c'est la vie.
It's okay.
Okay, so control room right here is this app, and what it allows you to do is a couple of different things. You can turn up and down the volume. As the person in charge of the show, you can turn up and down the volume. So here, if I turn this up like this, now Jen, say something.
I'm saying something.
See, she got louder, and then I can turn her down, and you can not even hear her now. See? So in control room, you have the control to do that. You can also mute people. You can also turn off their cameras, all from control room. This allows you to have control of all of the people. This is not an app I often use, and the reason is I have most of this functionality except for the volume control right here. I can mute somebody. I can hide them from the broadcast, which kicks them out. That's a little different than turning off their image, and I can eject them from the conversation. So
right. So for the purposes of the book, Dennis,
purposes of the book,
you're clicking on the little box on the bottom of the individual screen, there's a down arrow that clicks and you have more options.
Correct.
I hope I
and
explained that properly.
Exactly, and then we may have to think about getting some screenshots of some of this stuff too.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, this gives you most of the functionality Control Room does, and you don't have to wait for it to open. All of the apps require some time to open, and so you don't have to wait for them to open. And if I can find another way to do something than an app, I will use the other way, always. Because there's apps that I have to be using.
Right. Okay. So do we want to go over those apps that you have to be using, or do we want to go on to the next one?
Well, I'll just touch on those as we come up. These apps are not in any particular list order here, but the ones that are important, the Toolbox is an important one, but you'll only open that at the beginning just to get your overlay on, and then you'll kind of be done with it. Google Effects is a lot of fun. Some of my shows, I make certain and have Google Effects open the whole time because I use the sound effects to make it more interesting. Other shows, I don't, they're not that campy, and so they're more professional, and sound effects are kind of weird if you're in a professional show. So, Screen share. Okay, this is going to be a tough one to show you, but here we go. Okay, so screen share is this little green thing right here.
So it's a green computer screen with a white arrow in it.
Arrow on it. And you just click on that, and then it opens up and shares your screen. This is nice both in a Hangout on Air when you're trying to train on something and when you are trying to do a a private conversation with somebody and trying to show them something. Now, when you click on the screen share, it gives you an option for your whole computer screen, or just this window that you've got open, or just I always run 2 monitors, so it could be the first or second monitor. Depending on how your computer is configured, you could have as many as 6 or 8 different options to click on.
Right.
One thing I want to point out, I have found that screen sharing a video that is in my video player just shares a black screen. So if I want to play a video using screen share, the way that I normally do that is I will have that open on my second screen, and I'll play it there on the second screen. So there's little glitches with all of these, and one of those is, for some reason, the video player does not play well with screen share. But you can screen share anything else that you want, and when you're screen sharing, you can do something like this. So I'm screen sharing my monitor 1 right now. I'm going to take my Google Hangout and I'm going to move it over to monitor 2. Well, now you're looking at the the event itself. Actually, this is last week's event itself. And so, then I can take this and I can move it back over here if I want, and you'll see the Hangout itself again.
Right.
Comment tracker. Okay, are you guys ready? This is, to me, the most important of all of the things that you're going to do. So this is going to be an interesting, there's a lot of steps to comment tracker. So let me screen share first, and we'll walk you through the steps of comment tracker. Here you go. So this is comment tracker. It's 2 green conversation bubbles, one overlapping the other one, and the one that's overlapping has a whole bunch of lines in it. Okay? You're going to click on that thing, and it's going to open something on the right-hand side, as all of the apps do. And some of the apps take longer than others to open. And some of the apps never open at all. Let's hope that's not the case right now. Okay, So when you get here, you have the YouTube event is automatically in here, and it's asking you for a source URL or search term. Okay, well, it's kind of goofy where you get this source URL. Let me show you where you get the source URL from. What I do is about an hour before the show goes live, I will come to my event and I will share the event. Okay, this is last week's event, so I'm not going to share it. But what we can do, let's actually do this. I'm going to go to my profile, and I'm going to share to. So we come down and.
So here's Dennis's Google profile, Google Plus profile.
Here we go. We got to be getting close now. Here we go. Okay, so here's the event. I'm going to go into the event itself. Whoops. And you do that by clicking on the name of the event. When you see the card, then you can click on here. That's going to open this up. Once you open this up, on the right-hand side, it says Share Event. You click on that. And I'm just going to do We Are Live training on how to use comment tracker. Look at that. I typed O faster than I got off of the shift key. Okay. Okay, that's one of my promoted hashtags, G+DNA. So we're going to share this event, okay, and off it goes. Now we're going to come back to my profile, and this is going to be the first thing in my profile. For comment tracker to work, place first. The event itself must have been shared publicly at the beginning.
Okay.
So let's see. It didn't come up first. Now, because this original event, now I'm just looking for the post. Oops. The post.
So he's just looking for
scrolling slowly.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit. I don't know if it's the connection, but Dennis is just looking for the post of where he just shared the event, right, Dennis?
Really slow. I think it's all the things I have open.
Yeah, probably.
Here's what I'm looking for is this date, time. I know.
Okay.
Weird. Source URL is found.
Mm-hmm.
You right-click that is in the post. The date is right underneath the name of the person that shared, right next to where it says shared publicly. You'll see, if it was today, you'll see a time. If it was a previous day, you'll see date and time there. You right-click over that while you're hovering, and you copy link address.
Okay.
Okay? Drop-down menu.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're going to come back over to the Hangout itself, and we're going to post that link right here where it says source URL. And we hit the plus sign. And it starts to go to work. And what it's going to do is it's going to bring up that particular event. Then you click on the check reshares. And it will now bring up every single version of the event that was shared. And so you can see all the people who have shared the event. And then you come back up here to the navigation. which is the navigation is on the left-hand side. The navigation is on the left-hand side. It's 3 white lines on the left-hand side. You left-click on navigation, and you go to Stream. And this now shows all of the conversations that have transpired within the event. So you can monitor them during the show. That's not the only thing you can do with it. You like this comment from Michael Thomas, you can pin that comment, and it will stay at the top.
Awesome.
Okay, so as new comments come in, this all shifts down to the bottom, and you can click on any one of these, and they will go to the top. Okay,
that
so
way
now
you
those
can
3
monitor if you want to answer their question later or something like that, right?
Yeah, so then if you want to, and then this eyeball right here allows you to share those up on screen. Now, you can't see that, so I'm going to stop screen sharing for a second, and you'll see I'm not on camera because I've clicked that eyeball before I stopped screen sharing. Now I've clicked it again, and I came back on camera, and now I'm going to click Michael Thomas, and so, yeah, and Jen is also sharing
I'm doing it real time, Dennis. I'm following your instructions. Yes, it's working. Now I know how comment tracker works.
Isn't that weird? It works when you follow the instructions.
Wow.
So that is the basics of comment tracker. One thing that I want to point out on comment tracker, I'm going to screen share again here. One thing that I want to point out on comment tracker is you don't want to, here, let's do it with this one. If you click on this eyeball so that it's showing, okay, and then you click the unpin, that thing disappears from being pinned and it goes back into the middle of the stream. But the confusion is it's still showing that thing. Now this one was close to the top, so it was easy to find. But if you've got a really active HOA where you get 300 or 500 comments by the end of the show, trying to go back and find that thing can be difficult. So you want to make certain that you unclick that you're showing before you come back and show another one. Just in case if you do something like you clicked on this one and then you unpinned it and it's down below, there is a quick solution. You can just quickly click on something else and then unclick it. Okay, and it'll just pop something up for a half a second and then it'll drop it back down again. And that way you can override your mistake if you did happen to forget that I said don't ever unpin before you unshare. Okay, the solution is share something else and then unshare the something else and you'll be back to your camera.
Okay. Awesome. Good to know. Perfect.
So the next one we're going to talk about is the Capture app. And we are getting close to our 1 hour. We had said we were going to do an hour and a half, but I had something come up. So we're only going to do an hour here, and then we'll be back next week.
At 11:32
I don't think we're going to get 11:32 Mountain Time. I don't think we're going to be able to cover the bad apps this week. And I'm not even certain if we're going to be able to finish all of the good apps right now. But that's okay. Let's show you Capture app. Again, screen sharing. So you can see this is the Capture app right here. Okay. It just looks like a blue camera, an old point and shoot 35mm camera that's blue. That's it. Okay. When you click on that, you get this little green thing right down here. Okay. And that is your Take Photo button. So if you click that, it'll take a photo. Now, one thing that you may have just noticed is that when you take a photo, it makes a shutter sound that the people can hear. And that's annoying. So I don't like Cameraman app to be, or capture app to be used during a show. I prefer that you use it in the green room before or after the show. But another thing that you can do that's kind of fun with this is, so we're going to focus on Jenn. You can't see me clicking the, oh yes you can. No, you can't see me clicking the button, but I'm going to take 5 photos in a row of Jenn, and then I'll post these back into the event after. Yeah, you better post. There's 2 photos, 3 photos, 4 photos. It takes quite a while for the camera to reload, and we're ready for the 5th photo. There we go.
I feel like a photo booth that I'm totally off on.
Okay, well that was great. Yeah, exactly. That's. I mean, the whole thing. I think it's a joke so that you can make fun of your friends and family.
Yeah.
Okay. So what that does is it gives you these 5 photos right here. Okay.
Share your screen. Oh yeah, you're sharing. And share your screen back. Google, oh, you did. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sharing right now. Yep. And so I can, so Google will take these 5 photos and turn them into an animated photo of Jenn moving through these positions. So it's kind of fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Something
I
that you
didn't know
can
it
do.
did that.
Yeah. And then, so in order to view the photos like I did, the photos are lined up down here in the lower right-hand corner. You click that, and it'll open this sidebar. And then you click View Photos on Google Plus to Google Plus and turn them into an animated GIF. We probably should, since I'm such a big fan of animated GIFs, we may want to cover that.
Yeah, I think that would be a good item to cover. Your Google Plus page has a lot of animated GIFs, and it looks really, really good. And
I don't make
fun
those.
To make. Oh, okay. Well, you can show us how you get them or where you get them.
Yeah, we can do that as a bonus feature at the end of the book.
Well, and I've made animated GIFs for my clients on their websites, but it's just been in Photoshop, and we would use those in replace of Flash because Flash, doesn't look good on Apple products. So we would do animated GIFs for their banner to flash. Well, it wouldn't be flash, but to move, to rotate. So I've used those before for that, but I like how you've used them for fun and so that they're more attractive. It reminds me of like Harry Potter or something. You look at your Google Plus page and all the pictures are moving.
Yeah, it is kind of like Harry Potter. It reminds me a lot of the newspapers, where the pictures were moving within the newspaper. And I have a lot of fun with it. I've got a survey going right now. I took a photo. I edited one version of a sunset photo, and then I also had done an animated GIF of the same shot, and I was out on a sailboat, sunset, and the sun is reflecting across the water, and the waves are moving, and people are saying, hey, I like the edited one, or I like the animated one, and ironically, the edited one is actually winning out.
Awesome. Oh, you got stuck, Dennis. Probably all of us are stuck. At least you're stuck on my side. So hopefully Dennis comes back. I think he's gone. Where did he go? Yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Dennis. He's here somewhere. I'm probably still... Oh, there's that. Hopefully Dennis comes back in here. I'm not sure if it's still broadcasting since Dennis had the controls, but if it is, then I will continue until he gets back because we still have about 6 more minutes. He was talking about the Capture app, which was really fun. And next he was going to be talking about the Cameraman app. And the Cameraman app, I don't think I have the Cameraman app. So I can share my screen. And the Cameraman app, oh, we have Infinity. The Cameraman app, I don't think I have. So, oh, that's Control Room. No, I don't think I've ever had the Cameraman app. So YouTube, I don't see it. So we'll have to have Dennis talk about that one. And for now, we'll just keep it on me. Dennis might come back, he might not. One thing we can talk about is just some of the things in the comment thread or the comment tracker. So Roxanne Davenport just joined us, so welcome. And I do see that Dennis said that his computer just crashed. So he's rebooting and he'll be back on. Not sure if it's still live. It says it is on my side, so we might still be going. So I'll just continue talking. I'm going to put a little plug in for myself, if that's okay. I'll do a screen share of my blog. So yesterday, I became another bestseller on Amazon. And what I did was I co-authored a book. Hey, Dennis. Hey, Dennis is back.
I'm back.
Anyway, I was just sharing my screen. I don't know if it's worked or not because you're in control, I think.
Well,
but,
you're the only one, so you should.
Okay.
Yeah, it's working.
Okay, well, I was just going to put a little plug in. I became bestseller on Amazon yesterday for video marketing for veterinarians, and it was a co-authored book with Michelle Duplachon, who's from California. So if you know any veterinarians that need help with their marketing, let them know about my book. It's on Amazon.
Bestseller. The book's been out for a week, Jen.
Well, we actually published it on the 10th, but we didn't launch it or let anyone know that it was on Amazon until yesterday. And then we became bestsellers in 3 different categories yesterday. So it was really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really amazing.
It was good. So I was just telling people that we were going to talk about the Cameraman app, but then I went to go find it and I don't have it. So I couldn't share it, how to use it because I don't have it. So.
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
Yeah, well, if I do, I don't know what it looks like or how it works. So you'll have to show
All right,
us.
so the first thing that I need to do, because coming in late to the show like this after the little hiccup caused me to need to not use the app that I normally did. So we're going to upload my overlay like we did. This is a little refresher course for you all.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go. Okay, so now we're
while you're doing that really quick, have you ever used the saved presets? Because I've done those and I think they work pretty good.
Yes, I have. I used to use this a lot, and I would have saved presets because I'm on so many shows that I'm often, on a show, off a show, on a show, off a show,
Mm-hmm.
and so as a result, I like to
do it real time.
Yeah, I'd have a lot of different ones all set in the saved presets. It's a great handy tool, if you're going to be on and off different shows and have different overlays for different pieces of branding yourself.
Awesome.
Great tool. Okay, back to screen share. And we are looking for this app right here. It's the Cameraman app. Okay.
Ah.
And the Cameraman app is pretty cool. It only does 3 things, but I use it a lot. It does, well, let me see all 3. Okay. It controls some broadcasting settings. So as guests join, you can hide their audio and video from my broadcast. I always leave that on no, but that could be handy, especially if people are going to be joining in late in the show. Then you may want to go ahead and have that set so that they don't just come jumping in and their kids are crying and they aren't quite ready to go live. Sometimes people aren't as professional as they should be joining in.
Right. Well, and I just realized why I don't have the cameraman, because I didn't start this Hangout. You did.
Oh, that's right.
I will not have that tool.
Yeah, you couldn't have the Cameraman app because it's only available to the person who's in control. Okay, so the second one that it does here is broadcast the large video that I see to my audience and hide the other video feeds. So you've seen how this show's been all the way along, where Jen's been down in the bottom stream. Well, I'm going to turn this on now and show you what happens. We're going to stop screen sharing, and now all you see is me. Jen's not in the stream. And then when I show Jen, Jen's there and she's filling the whole screen and I'm not there. And now back to me. Okay? Whereas if I click that off, instantaneously, poof, now Jen's back. Now, even though Jen's up on the big screen, I'm still down in the lower screen. There's different reasons that you may want to use either of those. You know, if you're doing a show where a lot of reaction could be really interesting and people may want to see more reactions than just the one reaction, that's a good use for it. When you have the film strip, it makes the images a little bit smaller and less is shown. So if you really want a lot of information shown, it's usually best to use the broadcast setting that we were just going through. In fact, the truth is, I probably should have been using that for all the screen sharing I was doing, because you would have seen more information. It would have been easier to read what I was showing on the screen. So, yeah, that's what that one does. And then the next one down, the third option here, is new guests in my large 3+ broadcasts are muted when they join. Yes or no? And you know, that's a good one. And like, I've used this one in some of my music hangouts where we'll have people in the film strip who can be talking, but you know, you want to mute all of them. You can use that to kind of shut everybody up when the music is playing. So there's times for each of these. You may not use them all the time. The one I use the most by far is the middle one. I just find that to be the handiest tool, and I use that. Like my weekly show that I do, Network Roundtable, I always use that setting. Have been for about 5 episodes now, something like that. I decided to make the change. So that's what Cameraman app does.
Awesome. That's good. Do we want to open up for question and answer? If there is any?
Yeah, let's see.
And wrap
yeah,
this
let's
one
do
up?
that. Let's do that. I'm going to go ahead and share the link right into the stream. So any of you guys that want to come in, feel free to join us. The reason we're opening this up is that we would love to have you come in, and we're trying to do the part of the book at the back that has all the testimonials from the people who have pre-read it. Basically, you've read the second section of the book together with us as we've produced it live. So, you know, if you've got questions, of course, we'll take those live and continue to record. But if you would like to come in and tell us what you thought about the information, helpful, not helpful, what you liked, what you didn't like, we would love to have you join. And it's open. Anyone who is in the audience that wants to join, that's out there.
Okay.
Next week, what are we covering? Well, people are deciding whether they're going to join us or not join us. What are we covering, Jen?
Let's see. Next, Plus My Reach. What's that one?
Plus My Reach is another tool. It's a tool that I mostly just use for Hangouts on Air. it allows you to track, and it's not a typical tool that runs inside. After the event is over, then you run the Plus My Reach report. And what Plus My Reach does is it tells you how many people engaged with your event, how many people saw it, how many people reshared it, in a very concise way. It only gives you about 4 or 5 pieces of information, but that information is really, really powerful. If you're planning on doing a show where you're going to try and get sponsors, this is the kind of data that a sponsor wants to see. Or if you, like me, are producing shows for a business for their benefit, they want to know what happened with their show and why it was of value. And this gives you the ability to do that. It's like $5 a month for 12 reports. It's $10 a month for 24 reports, and it's $20 a month for 50 reports.
Okay. So we'll go through that on the next Hangout. Are you sharing your screen of you, or is it showing me right now?
Oh, I've been bouncing back and forth. I saw that from Roxanne. Hi, Roxanne.
Okay, good.
Sorry, I wasn't on me at the time.
Oh, no problem. Just wanted to make sure. So yeah, next time we'll go over that, and then we'll also go over some of the bad apps that we were talking about. And then we're going to go over how to set up for Hangout On Air, like what equipment you're going to need, what kind of microphones work best. If you need, what I'm using, which is a mic, a lavalier mic, or a big, big mic that looks like you're at a radio station. What kind of microphones do you need? What kind of camera equipment do you need? So we'll go over all of that, and then promotions. We're going to talk about promotions and how you get people to promote your Hangout. And that's what we're going to cover next time.
Yep. So, and I'm thinking we got 2 more episodes before we're done and ready to start going to edit and write the book.
Yes.
So, we will see you all next week, 11:32.
Yes.
Next Wednesday. That's Mountain Time. And we would love to have you guys come back, join in, and help us write the book.
Awesome.
Appreciate you today. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.